Right, so these teams, M5 more so, having to play a lot of games today. We just saw them come out on top of Zubu Blaze, who was struggling even longer out of that. And really, this is crazy. Last hope for CLG.NA. We're down to 6 teams now in the tournament after all this huge amount of action we've had. And they were looking so strong. We both thought when we were casting the other CLG team that they were going to beat Fnatic and just move right on to the winners bracket finals. But with that loss, they got dropped down here. And hello, you just got to play M5 in the losers bracket now. Arguably, coming into the tournament would be ranked way higher than Fnatic. So we'll see how they come out in this one.
And honestly, you look at the brackets we were just talking about earlier off stream, and when we're watching the matches, like every single game now is basically like a final. They're
Seems
all
like
so huge. Any tournament would be happy to have M5 Azubu Blaze as their final, CLG.NA as a M5, CLG EU Type A Assassins. These are all semi-finals, winner bracket. The winner bracket finals, we haven't even got to them. They're tomorrow. We're getting these huge matches throughout this tournament. The tournament is so stacked, Jat, but the bans have come in. You can see it on your stream. Twisted Fate, Olaf, Lee Sin. No shock there. Moscow 5, though, banning out Lee Sin. Interesting one.
Yeah, and they banned out Twisted Fate in all 3 of their previous matches against Azubu Blaze, and we know that Big Fat LP plays a lot of TF, so that's banned clean out. Lee Sin has got to be for Chowster, because his jungle Lee Sin has actually been pretty brutal. He was one of the best Lee Sins in North America for a super long time, but he was playing support for CLG, so he never got to bring it out on people. He'd just get to play it in solo queue. Now that he's moved to the jungle, it's banned.
It's banned.
And we'll see if they end up first picking Rengar. I think Rengar is the 2nd most banned champion. Diana was the first. No. Who was the most? Lee Sin was the most banned champion. Then it went Rengar, then Diana. Speak of the devil, they picked Diana right away.
So was that baiting? We just saw Darian on Rengar on the mainstream against Azubu Blaze, and we were straight away like,
It was Renekton.
Aurelia versus Renekton, sorry, yeah, Renekton versus Aurelia in that top lane. We thought, how good is he on there? I mean, I'm pretty sure I remember him playing it at Tales of the Lane. Honestly, when you start doing that many tournaments, they start blending into one, and the stats are hard to track. I'm going to really have to start pulling a full-on book of facts with me, but it is going to be Rengar and Sona being clocked in there. So, Rengar, we saw Sao Mei absolutely phenomenal for Team WE on Rengar. Really, I guess, was the catalyst in the fact that he kept CLG EU running around, having to go back to the base, stealthing his way in there. Fantastic champion. Seen some brilliant plays from him so far in this tournament.
He's probably one of the best split-pushing champions you can have, just because of that stealth. Anytime they come to collapse back on, you just, I'm going to disappear and have vision of all of you. So that's going to help me with my juking. After that, though, Moscow 5 was one of the only people to play Rengar when he first released, back before anyone had really picked him up. So now that he's available in this tournament, they're sure to lock him in. Lulu, one of the most contested picks this tournament, even though losing a fair bit of the games. Ezreal, of course, another really popular choice, but that's going to be a good lineup for Doublelift and Chowster. In the games against Fnatic, they kept giving Reckless Ezreal, and he was just crushing them with it back near the end of these games. Locked it up nice and early here.
Yeah, this time didn't go for Vayne. Doublelift, as we're so used to seeing. Corki getting locked in, so Genja quite happy with going on towards the flying Yordle, I think it's safe to say.
He's a Yordle.
He's a Yordle, isn't he? In his little plane. Yeah, Katarina could be coming out for Alex Ichio. He just played Zyra against the Zubu Blaze. Katarina, he's also played APE a bunch of times this tournament. I mean, I was talking to CLG EU, I went to lunch with those guys, and I was just saying, is it a case of Alex is playing that champion against, without being disrespectful, the lesser teams early on in the tournament to maybe force a ban to a champion that really he probably wasn't planning on playing against the top teams?
Yeah, but then he actually brought it up against the Zubu Blaze, and they lost in, I believe it was game 2, but they actually went with a Mumu instead. They're going to save that AP mid pick for the end. If you had to compare almost Master Yi and Katarina, they both fill very similar roles, but I'd almost say Master Yi is more on the snowbally side and much worse when you're farther behind in games, so he's a very big Gambit pick. They obviously still haven't went with that. What is CLG going to lock in here at the end? Because they still need, really, their top lane and their jungle, and they know exactly what they're going to be going up against. So Hotshot gets to pick straight against Rengar, Chowster gets to pick straight against a Mumu. I know Chowster probably doesn't want to play supporty junglers, but Maokai is a crazy good pick against Moscow 5. Just because they normally ban it and they don't know how to deal with it. As for top lane, could it just be Maokai and Cho'Gath?
Well, it's
that would probably work. Hotshot Cho, and the Maokai just to fear M5 into it.
Absolutely makes sense. So, looks like it is going to get locked in. So, final pick, the AP champion. What is Alex gonna play. What will he have in mid versus Diana? Katarina Woodwork. It's generally one of the few sort of, I wouldn't say counters, it's more of a neutralize.
No, Diana just beats up on Katarina is
Really?
one of the things. Exactly, because anything Katarina wants to do, Diana can do slightly better. So if they go into trade, Diana has a refreshing shield. If they try to ultimate, it's interrupted with the vacuum.
Moonfall.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's listed as on ChampionSelect.net, free plug, it's listed as the top counter. But in all honesty, talking to the players, that's what it is as well. Zillion would be very surprising to me. I would have expected them to go with something like Zyra, Eve, or Orianna, but with that pick, their damage is going to be a little bit lacking. That's very magic heavy, and that could be a thing. He could pick it into a counter just for the team comp synergy, because in the lane, that doesn't work that well.
But I'm certainly thinking, right, okay, I'm pretty sure at Tales of the Lane, we saw a few Katarinas against Dianas, and they stomped.
But generally, the Diana was picked after the Katarina, because people consider it a counter pick.
I would have to check back. I'm sure Katarina a few times. I'm not going to question the counter that the pro players get, but Alex Ish has just countered and picked it directly into it.
He picked it straight in. So obviously, there's dissension in the ranks, because you can clearly pick Katarina against Diana if you want to. And M5 versus CLG.NA in one of these crazy important matches, even though we're here on stream 2. All of these things are just crazy. There's too many matches to get in 4 days, all in the mainstream, so we're stuck with M5 and CLG.NA.
We don't have enough stages, as it were. But yeah, so it's very strong teams, very strong picks. What are we going with here? The 2 team comps.
Yeah, so CLG.NA, it's all about the circle again, right? Like, Diana's going to go in, vacuum, Cho'Gath, Lulu, try to chain it on. Moscow 5, really about area of effect, getting everyone low for Alexich to clean up. Darian's potentially going to be able to split push, but the big thing with this is you make one small mistake against a Katarina comp, and it seems to be over. That's kind of been the pattern in the weekend. Games look close, and then Katarina just spins a whole bunch, and then the team fight is over, and you're just like, well, now we can't come back. So it's going to be very much on CLG to keep the pressure up the whole time, and if M5 gets an inch, they're probably going to win it.
And Alex is one of those champions or players that can snowball quite easily. Obviously, done it with APE, does it with Katarina. Big Fat LP, we haven't seen him going huge in this tournament, as far as I'm aware. We've seen Doublelift getting a number of pentakills, I think, in this event. He's on Ezreal this time around. He has had an Ezreal pentakill, I believe, in this tournament so far. Is it too much to ask that he could carry it, especially against a team like Moscow 5? Other people in that team need to pick up.
I think if CLG wins, it's going to look like Doublelift carried it, because so much of their team is set up for what Ezreal's doing. Big Fat LP, Diana, people pick that to create. It's not necessarily that Diana's going to get all the kills, but she's going to be the one who can reach the backline and disrupt the fight. Even in his pentakill, if we go back and watch that YouTube clip, the fight starts with everyone trying to kill Big Fat OP, and he pretty much fends off 3 people by himself on Orianna, and then Doublelift will clean it up. I've actually heard a lot of people, we haven't actually casted a CLG.NA game, but I've heard a lot of people giving Big Fat OP huge props this tournament, saying he's really stepped it up back to his old kind of dominating style. We'll see if he can do that against Alex Each, because the matchup, by the books, should be in his favor.
I think I've cast a few of them. I think I've cast about 2. Yeah, you haven't. We've been separated.
Oh no!
I felt lost for a while. I felt lost for a while, but we are going to get into the game, ladies and gentlemen. So let's switch across to the game. It is on your screen. CLG.NA. Look at that pesky directed camera. Who was on here last? I wonder. Directed camera left on. That's disgraceful. So it is CLG as the blue team and Moscow 5 as the red team. Who is likely, if any, to go for a level 1 fight?
Well, you can see very early on, no one's actually grouping up as 5. That is a completely spread formation for Moscow 5. Alex making himself a little dangerous here. He might see CLG coming in. He's a little close, but he's just going to be able to back off.
Yeah, he'd already taken the saplings. I mean, he wouldn't want to take Twisted Advanced level 1 skill. It would just be crazy. It would cripple himself. If they didn't get that first kill, even still then, he would be crippled in the jungle.
And with that, you can see just the one ward, really. I don't think Moscow 5 has placed any wards of their own quite yet, which is somewhat surprising because Diamond is very vulnerable to counter jungling since he's on that Amumu. All the scouting coming out from CLG. M5 really a little bit blinded. CLG's used a few wards. If they can get away without placing wards, that's fine. The reason they haven't placed wards, actually, is you can see Gosu Pepper started with boots on Sona instead of this regular Fairy Charm and massing wards. The only ward he had in his inventory, he's just placed in the river there. So they really got to defend Diamond Prox's jungle here.
So Gosu actually not going to get spotted by that sapling because it's just exploded as the saplings are thrown out. So CLG positioning, they're going to start out the Wolves, stacked up a bunch of saplings and immediately take down the Wolves. Let's have a look. We're getting an invade from Moscow 5 here. They're going to go for the big Wraith, and that will be Genja that picks that one up and walks away. Ping goes down. They spot Darien. They realize he's on the Wraiths. So taking away the large Wraith himself as the top laner.
It's strange, though, because that's the large Wraith in his own jungle, and he just left 3, so he's somewhat counter-jungle Diamond just because he wanted to get to top lane faster.
You counter-jungle your own team.
He's trying to get the big Wraith and get to lane as fast as possible, so he's getting that snowball on Hotshot GG.
You know
it's
what?
a team strategy, right?
Jaws would be all over that one.
He's running in between his own towers.
That was
counter-jungling his own Wraith. But no, now I hope Diamond goes and finishes off those Wraiths right away, but when he does, they'll see exactly where he is. There's no big plays coming out from either side really here because common start by Chowster as well. Maokai himself is a weak jungler early. It's another thing, Amumu versus Maokai is a fairly common matchup you see since neither of those guys are crazy strong counter junglers early. And I really want to see if Darien can put some pressure on Hotshot here since he rushed that level 2 and could be ready to go.
Yeah, he's just going around, just last hitting at the moment. Whether Hotshot's going to try and keep them at bay or whether he's going to try and engage. Yes, he is just going to force him away. Just growls at him and then backs off straight away. So, top lane, let's have a look between these two. Obviously, it's a level 2, they're both the piece. Darien just slightly ahead in the experience. We do have Diamond Prox sneaking off in the corner here, though.
He got seen exactly by that ward in the Tribosh, so Hotshot's got to play real passive here. He might just try to take as much time for Diamond Prox and pretend like he doesn't see him. As you can see, he walks up. He's almost baiting a bandage toss, but he's walked back through the ward. Immediately, Hotshot goes back. As for the lane itself, I feel like Darien is going to look to try to put pressure on, but it's just so hard. Hotshot is the master at just sitting in lane and trying to ignore your opponent for as long as possible. That's why they moved him back up there, because Big Fat LP just works with Chowster now. Chowster works bottom lane and mid lane, and they really abandoned him top, as you see Chowster now in the bottom brush, waiting for a gank.
Yeah, waiting for that gank. Ghostly Pepper used all of his heal pots already in this bottom lane. Just keep an eye. Mid lane, they're going towards Big Fat LP. Diamond Prox wasn't able to manage to catch a bandage toss on him, so he's going to continue back off there, and immediately, actually, just as they push forward, just as they go aggressive, they do see the jungler, Chowster, just off at the side there. He may come back to this bottom lane though, because they all passed the ward. They were sat in that ward base. No, he's going to continue on the jungle path.
And Loco Doco and Double Lift look to be having a few issues in this lane. The minion kills are fine, but they're already harassed down fairly low. Double Lift completely out of health potions. And that's one of the things you get when you start boots on your support. You gain that poke advantage over your enemy. You're going to put a lot of pressure on the lane if Chowster can't come down to help.
So that is the bottom lane. Let's have a look at the mid lane. This is the counter lane. Big Fat LP on Diana, Alex Itch on Katarina, countering apparently in towards Alex. But honestly, when it comes to the players of this skill level, I'm not too sure about them counters. It's more about how good that player is on that champion.
And they still love to talk about it nonetheless. But 31 minion kills to 26 already in that lane. Alex roaming down bottom. I hope Big Fat, you can save pings right away as they get a gank at bottom.
And they go straight in. Genja's going to get taken down. It's a double kill. You can see Alex Itch trying to get in there. Can he really go into 3v1? This is a dangerous situation. Nope. I think that's a little bit too much to ask for. And well, Chowster did return back to the bottom lane. Alex is going to get caught, twisted advance. He's going to dive in. He tries to go for double lift. He will get him with the ignite. Should be enough. Can he get a second? No, he can't. And it's Chowster that picks one up. Craziness. I mean, there was no way he was going to get multiple kills there, because Chowster, I guess as soon as he used the switch advance, he thought, well, the stun's used.
I'd argue there's a way he could get multiple kills, because he was an inch away from getting Loco Doco there. It was a slight miscalculation, but that was very close to being a double. When it just gives him the one kill, though, that's an advantage for CLG, because they got the assist gold for that as well. So 58% more gold went to them in that exchange. And the bottom lane, the assist for double, if he's going to want to shop anyway to get that phage, not really setting him back that far. Good gank by Chowster, really helping out that bottom lane, and he's still just camping down there, waiting for them to come back. If you take the bottom, he's just waiting. He's going to wait there for a while, if I could guess, and Gosu might go over and ward. He's going to try to harass him out.
He's going to go straight in there, twist the advance.
A lot of damage.
Knock up as well. It is a lot of damage. He's on his own. Finally coming in. It's going to be double lift. Can he get one more shot on towards Gosu Pepper? One sapling should be doing it. If he got the sapling tusk, no. Doesn't have it. Doesn't matter for the mana, I don't think. Yes, he did, but he just didn't. He'd already used it up. It was on cooldown.
That's still a great gank for Chowster, because as soon as they come back to lane, they're going to have to go away right again. Might just press down this turret with 3 members. Actually, Chowster went, right back to base. It's late in the day, we're missing a few things. And up top, we actually see a Mumu potentially ganking Hotshot GG. He's level 6, though. The Ignite goes down, but I don't know if this is going to work. Here's the dive.
There's the ultimate used. They dive in towards Hotshot. The Rupture landed actually on Diamond Prox. He comes in, and his Diamond Prox that picks up the kill. Darian had to back away there. He was taken a little bit low, and immediately, Chowster's going to come in towards that bush. He might be able to catch him. No, they pinged it. They warned it. Alex Teacher was coming to cover.
They actually dove that turret without a creep line, which is why I thought it wasn't going to work, but it got enough to kill Hotshot down, and you can really see, because of that gank and because of the Phage, they're pressing down onto Genji here. He actually picked up a Mana Crystal when he went back to base, really going for a component of a Trinity Force that he could barely afford. In mid lane, the counter lane, not really showing much yet. Rush Negatron Cloak. Diana is known as a weak 1 through 5 laner. Now that they're both level 6, we'll see if we start getting any action. It's mainly the gank setup that's so good with Diana when Chowster decides to go in for that pull mid.
Well, Genja being pressured and pushed every step of the way here in this bottom lane, but he's keeping up the CS. It's really hard to stop a Genja farming. Stop a Genja farming because he's got that Phosphorus Bomb. You know, as soon as they push him up against that turret, he can just poof, Phosphorus Bomb, pick a bunch of damage, get a bunch of CS. In this top lane, Darian Hotshot.
Darian and Hotshot 0 for 1, already had the tower dive, and he rushed a Brutalizer. So click on Hotshot real fast, and we actually see he's at 77 armor, so he's going to negate that Brutalizer fair, but I'm pretty sure Darian went armor pen in his runes as well, and here comes a gank from Chowster. Can he reach him? Flash!
Flashed out, and that's burned. That's a successful gank in our eyes. Chowster does come up, and still, they could continue the pressure on towards the turret. Down the bottom lane, you can see Diamond Prox is down there, so they are a long way off. He's going to be 2v1ing in this lane. There's a big stack. Have they got enough to dive him? Yes, they are. They're going to go for it. Twisted Advance comes in. Rupture lands as well. Silence is down there. He doesn't have his ultimate. That's going to be a kill. It's Hotshot GG that gets it. The Ignite goes down. Great gank for CLG.
Really just brute forced that one and caught him off guard. He's just like, okay, I flashed the Rupture now. I'm completely safe. I'm in my turret. Bam. They just go right on top of the tower. Ignite and ultimate from Cho'Gath is so much true damage, and this is the great thing as we see Diamond running with the blue buff on Amumu about having a Katarina mid, completely unreliant on that blue buff. They realized there was a gank top. They realized Hotshot was low. They get the blue from Amumu. They're going for a dragon despite them being seen.
So Dragon being picked up. We do see double lift, and he's got to be careful because Genja's actually below them. They're a little bit split out here. Here comes Big Fat LP going towards Diamond Prox. Katarina comes in the form of Alex Ich, and they didn't. Did they get the Dragon? I didn't see whether they picked it up. They backed off. He actually just got invisible. Genja's in all sorts of trouble. Double lift continuing the damage. He should have True Shot Barrage. He's going to go across. He catches him with it, and double lift gets the kill on towards Genja.
That's the power of the early Phage there for double lift. As soon as they peeled off the dragon, he got a proc right away. Genja could not escape despite using his Valkyrie and Flash, and then he actually kind of cornered himself up against the turret there. It allowed double lift a clean shot. He can't juke, obviously, into the terrain that the turret's holding, so that's why the True Shot Barrage was able to kill him, and that's why he couldn't juke it. With that, they're going to try to push onto this turret. Diamond waiting in the wings, but I don't know if he'd be able to do anything, even if he landed the bandage in the turret.
Well, Diamond is there, just more of a precautionary, and look at that. Diamond Prox level 7, Ghostly Pepper level 5. Falling slowly behind, even on the jungler. So I look towards the top lane, see Alex is just defending off against Chowster there. So no, they're my wraiths. You're not going to come around this corner and smite it. And he will continue. So mid lane, 72 to 83 CS, 84 as it keeps stacking up as Alex clears another wave. Top lane, Darian versus Hotshot GG. Just a slight advantage for Hotshot currently. And he's continuing to farm, pressuring on that turret. But this is a very even lane so far.
And that's what Hotshot ends up doing when he puts in lanes. He just farms out, and especially on Cho'Gath, he's not going for any kind of crazy early bullying. He's just looking to become a giant monster in team fights and land those huge CCs. For the lane, he's really just trying to survive and get to that point and follow up on ganks, not necessarily create him himself. So you can see with him going Heart of Gold, Philosopher's Stone, he's really just waiting for the team fight phase, letting the rest of his lanes win, and just trying to hold the zone up top, as we see Diamond actually going in for maybe a gank.
Well, we do see Chowster sneaking in towards this bottom lane. We see Diamond in the top. He's been spotted by that ward, so he uses the Oracle and clears that out. Chowster lingering off this bottom, waiting to sneak his way into the bush. Vision cleared, now he goes in. There is a ward there, so he's going to get spotted straight away. He doesn't have the Oracle yet, so he doesn't realize he's wasting his time in this bottom lane. But they can still force a gang.
He's actually went for the double GP10 as well, so everyone on CLG taking that early advantage and investing it really in those items. That gank's going to fail for the most part, but top lane, they're actually going straight in for Hotshot.
They're going in towards Hotshot, and that's going to be a push in there. Doesn't matter, he flashes out of it down the bottom lane. Genji are actually forced to back away from this one. They are going to flash, they are going to twist advance. A deep one on towards it, doesn't matter. Tree Shot Barrage lands as Genji goes down. Goes to Pepper, goes down as well to Chowster. The Lulu ultimate was actually used to pop him up there and keep him on his toes. The two AP mids were trying to react to that one, but they couldn't get there. This bottom lane has been an absolute domination fest for Doublelist. 4-1-2.
Just take a quick look up top before we get into this next one. All right, everything's all good. Normally I have my own computer, so I can't get to see these things. And a gank actually behind from Diamond Prox. They might try the exact same gank they did earlier with the Ignite. Straight up dive with no minions.
Straight up dive is Diamond Prox taking the turret damage, and there's going to be a Hotshot going down. Honestly, how much of a trade is that, though? They continue getting the kills on the Hotshot on the top there. Only, well, 2 so far. But they're picking up double kills every step of the way down this bottom lane, and they're getting the Dragon.
I feel like this is completely according to plan by CLG. Obviously, they don't like the fact that Hotshot has died twice, but with the investment that M5 is putting towards Darian's Rengar, compared to the investment that CLG is getting for Doublelift, I'd say CLG's investment is paying off a lot better. Ezreal is so hard to deal with when you get Ezreal is so hard to deal with when you get killed there. Game score correction is not 1-0, it is actually 0-0. To surprise all of you guys. But this is almost an example of why CLG picked Maokai and why M5 doesn't really like playing against it, because the ganks that have been working have been brute force ganks. Chowster walks into lanes, gets spotted, and then just ganks anyway. M5's not used to playing against Maokai because they've banned it so much, and they really didn't expect it to come out here. So that's something that's contributing to them getting out-ganked in all odds. And they're really trying to pick on Hotshot here. He went bottom lane, and immediately you see 3 members forming up, maybe trying to gank.
Hotshot already backing away there. That's going to be the large Wraith picked up. Oh, he might get spotted straight away. Diamond not going to go for anything there, just going to leave him be. And that means they're going to stack a tower. Possibly going to go down here for Moscow 5. Could be a second tower of the game. Nobody really in time to react. You can't see True Shot Barrage about to come across, clear out that creep wave. Doesn't quite have enough damage yet, so doesn't manage to take it down. However, in the top lane, we are seeing Darian taking out the golems and not really in a position to maybe defend this turret.
And Hotshot doesn't really want to step into that lane. That turret's probably going to fall. CLG has to make sure to get this top one and not just give up all of their early game goal advantage because they've committed so much top lane. Diamond is trying to counter jungle. I think this is actually a fairly fair trade, though, because CLG's getting a turret, M5's getting a turret. Gold's going to be pretty even.
Well, they're 3-man stacking and continue to push this turret, but while this happens, the jungler's having to stay there, so they've traded turrets. But the jungler's also going in there. Diamond Prox and Darian, going to get dropped there. He has to use his stealth, but they can keep track of him with that Oracle, and he's not going to be able to escape this one. And he does get taken down.
Katarina coming up.
No use there. And it is going to be a 4-man fight here. They cannot dive for it just yet, and they realize they have to back off. CLG, you know, they might have enough to continue on towards this inner turret, and they will.
And this was another one of those ganks where Chowster was just sitting in the lane and then decided to twisted advance at one point. M5's not doing a great job dealing with it, getting 3rd turret of the game for CLG as well. Great trade. There was actually a small engagement in the bottom where Big Fat traded damage with Alex each as well. That didn't result in much, but up top, Chowster really just making them pay. 3-0-4 on Maokai, went with the early goal per 10 items, didn't rush Boots of Mobility, but it doesn't matter. He's still pulling off all the ganks that he needs. Really, it's on M5 to land a team fight with the Amumu ultimate because Diamond killing Cho'Gath one at a time is just not keeping pace with what CLG is doing.
CLG showing their new aggressive style, seemingly working here, working down this middle turret. The rest of Moscow 5 now are reacting. Are they coming too late? They should keep it just about half hit points there. And they do come around, but it is leaving Hotshot GG to free farm. It's what he does best. It's what he loves to do. He's got those 3 GP10 items with them. Ninja Tabby, so he is just going to sit pretty in that lane for a long period of this game.
He is just not hiding his intentions right here. He is completely planning on just farming out and waiting while everyone else does things. He's now going for that Frozen Heart, which will be fine. And it's an interesting difference between him and Darian because Darian's going Brutalizer, Red Elixir, very much like early game, let's win right now build, whereas Hotshot with the triple GP10 items is very much just content with killing minions and not really trying to take much action, which fits with the way they've been playing against him. He's just dying a few times, but he doesn't care. The rest of CLG trying to make action happen. And look, he's not even caring about Darian, just trying to get as many minions as possible.
Yeah, and he'll just get all that lifesteal back. As soon as he kills all these, the Vorpal spikes will help out. He feasts up a little bit more, gets himself a little larger, and carries on quite happily. Oh, they're going to dive on towards Ghosty Pepper in the mid lane here. You can see Chowster coming in once again with that twisted advance on towards the turret. Doesn't matter. Crescendo comes across. Caught Big Fat LP, but it's not going to be enough before he dives in there. The Ignite will be enough to take him down, and Chowster walks away again. Chowster making all the moves right now for CLG.
Yeah, he's been a part of 8 of the 9 CLG kills, really doing work on that Maokai. Such a good pick by them, knowing that Moscow 5 is weak against that champion, and they really almost mis-scouted CLG, I'd say, coming into this one. We'll see if they can turn it around a bit more, because Diamond Prox has been doing a lot of farming while Chowster's been doing that ganking. Chowster only 46 minion kills in the jungle to the 82 of Diamond Prox, but it is just paying off in the fact that he's created so many kills for Doublelift mainly.
And just look at the difference between the AD carries right now. Gold-wise, you can see it is huge, 2,500 nearly, and it is equated to a Bloodthirster, a Phage, a Zeal, compared to, well, just the very first item, the Sheen of that Trinity Force.
And this is just a lot of trouble. We know that, at least in the Fnatic vs CLG game, once Rekkles got a few kills on Ezreal, he was just able to take it over. Doublelift is known by a lot as the best AD carry in North America. A lot of people were trying to talk him up as one of the best AD carries in this tournament. And with the way that CLG has rapidly improved since they created this new roster, you know, coming out 5,000 gold ahead of M5, being the last North American team in this incredibly stacked tournament, it's really showing how much they're improving as a team. They still scream at each other constantly when they're playing, but it looks like they're a little more coordinated.
I mean, who doesn't scream at each other apart from CLG? Just listen to Team WE when they're fighting.
Well, they scream when they win fights. Yeah. They were strangely quiet when the fights were close and losing.
Yeah, they definitely were. So, as it is, though, Moscow 5 up against it here against CLG EU. Something I wouldn't have called. 9-3 currently. CLG with a very strong lane phase. The question is, how will that move? How will it equate into their mid game, which we're starting to step into here? Moscow 5 with that Curse of the Sad Mommy, with that Crescendo, they have that big CC. Is it enough to contain CLG?
It's one of those things, like when you pick Katarina, one mistake by CLG.NA and the game could swing, especially when you consider an Amumu. He's a very swingy champion. When you get just the right Amumu ult, you can completely turn the tides of a game. Also, with the Dragon going down here, and Big Fat LP doing the blue buff on the other side, M5 might look to get something good.
So Moscow 5 setting themselves up, wards getting placed out there. I'm not sure Moscow 5 really want to leash this one out yet. They seem to want to force the fight, but CLG contemplating fighting for it. And if CLG are contemplating fighting for it, they are feeling strong, because they would not ordinarily engage for this.
This is one of those things, normally you'd see Hotshot split pushing the lane while they just give up the Dragon and are content with it, but they know how strong they are right now. They know that Doublelift is way ahead of Genja right now, and that's such a big deal in these team fights. The only thing they have to worry about is Alex cleaning house after the Mumu ult. If they can control them and keep them split up, they'll be fine. They also have Feast for the Dragon, so they might just try to brute force this one down, but M5 wants to fight right here.
Are they backing themselves into a corner? Because there's an ulti, there's a Crescendo. Katarina's still yet to get in though. Hasn't managed to engage. There it is! There's the ultimate coming out from Moscow 5. Can they catch it off? True Shot Barrage hits across a few of them. Darian escapes with little to no life there. Gursu Pepper also backing away and nobody going down. Bandage Shots just flicking out. Alexic could get one, could get two. There's Genja picks up one. There's Alexic picking up the second one. Are they going to continue chasing? No. They're going to back away, and wisely so. Moscow 5 very, very low on damage, but that is the combo we talked about.
And Diamond landed his bandage and then flashed to get the Mumu ult on all 5 members of CLG. From there, they actually interrupted Alex's ultimate immediately with the Lulu polymorph, but it didn't matter because they just continued the chase and they'd gotten a lot of Corki and Rengar damage out. Being behind in the game and winning that team fight is pretty good, and I think a lot of that happened because CLG had invested so much in that gold per 10 strategy, and there's really only 2 gold per 10 items sitting across all of M5, that with the goal being like that, the dividends hadn't been paid from CLG yet, so item-wise they were very close before that battle, and it showed.
So, CLG, Hotshot feasting his way back up to 6, one of the few to survive that fight. And it is 9-5. Still though, gold advantage is with CLG. They are pushing straight up the mid turret, and it is only Ghosty Pepper that's there to try and defend it, and that's dangerous because Chowster and Big Fat LP could easily dive him here. That combination has been working very well so far. The rest of the team hot footing it down the mid lane, but will they be too late? I think they might be. CLG are straight on towards this turret, and that's going to be the mid turret burn.
And that was just, they knew M5 took a Dragon, so they traded the resource themselves. When they stuck around a little bit after the fight, they delayed their ability to get back to the base, and now with 4 turrets down to 3 turrets down, it's going to be a very wide open game at this point. No one really has turrets to go back to, and since the game is close, they're going to have to be very cautious, and Oracle's control is going to be even more paramount. Diamond taking out those wards. They got to wait on the ultimate cooldown of Amumu, but now that he's hit level 11, it's It's going to be a lot more potent coming into the next fight. We'll really have to see how this one plays out.
Someone playing with the sensitivity of my mouse as I wildly move the camera across. But Moscow 5 setting themselves up for a bit more of an aggressive situation here. Darian's going to take away the wolves in the jungle. Pings go down. And he just takes away the large wolf and backs away. So just continuing, look at that. They thought they were maybe on Baron. Just using that true shot barrage to snipe it out there. Now it's a true shot barrage. It's a pretty quick cooldown. It is going to be up in around about 64 seconds. It does maybe give Moscow 5 a small advantage.
Yeah, and take a look at this. Darian has went double Giant's Belt on Rengar. And he did this in the game against TPA as well. Stanley came back to the lane with 2 health crystals, and then Darian went back and got 2 Giant's Belts. He really just likes stacking those before he finishes his Sunfire Cape or Warmogs. I don't even know if it's actually an efficient strategy, but nonetheless, it is something he likes to do, and it probably looks a little intimidating having all those bars of health up in the top lane, everyone counting as 100, but it's a lot of health he's already got. 3,000 at the 22-minute mark, only being level 14. 15% health heal is really going to stack up well with that. But, you know, because of Hotshot's investment banking strategy, he's 1,000 gold behind him already, despite getting 2 gank kills.
Yeah, definitely working out well for him. In terms of the junglers, actually, despite all the kills and the ganks and the craziness that's been going on for Chowster, he's not that far ahead. Still only 400 gold ahead of Amumu in the form of Diamond Procs. Meanwhile, you can see the AP carries 1,000 gold advantage for Alex Ich. Big difference, though, still. Genja between Double Lift and Genja desperately trying to catch up on that one. Still yet to complete the Trinity Force, even after that good fight they had.
And speak of the devil, there it comes. Trinity Force just went for Double Lift before Genja even got it, so he's a bloodthirster up on him at this point. And that, even though Chowster doesn't look to be ahead of Diamond Procs, that wasn't the point of him ganking bottom lane. The point of him ganking bottom lane was to get Double Lift going. And he very well has, especially picking up that magic resist now in the form of Negatron Cloak for Double Lift, really going to help them when Alex comes in for fights and tries to snowball those. They know how important it is, and you could see the fear in CLG during that last team fight. Already trying to itemize against that, though, trying to make sure it doesn't happen.
So we're at 23 minutes. If they see Genja in that bottom lane, which they just did, are they going to force the Baron?
Well, speaking of it, they're going to clear the wards off immediately, which is definitely going to force M5 around the Baron area. From here, so much of this will be about landing just the right rupture before they'd want to chain with Diana, or finding just the right moment for Big Fat to go in and then chain that with the rupture. But that was mainly just a ploy of getting him away from the bottom lane, because they don't want to give him any time to free farm.
Yeah, and you can see the farm difference. It is pretty 60 between the two. So definitely, you know, he's going back across there. He's going to say, right, okay, I can get the farm. No, you're safe. You don't need to go. And Diamond, he seems like he's looking for a moment to kill in here, and he's actually going to follow Chowster straight on towards Alex Ich, going very deep. They're going to turn back on towards Chowster. That's going to be the curse of the sad mommy, isn't it? No, they don't have Genja in this fight. You can see they get the pull. The moonfall was good. Here comes Genja from the side, though. No kills for CLG. It means they're on the back foot, and straight away, Big Fat LP is going to get dropped. It's Alex Ich that picks up the kill. He's going to get the reset. Turns on towards Hotshot GG now. They get the catch on towards him. Hotshot GG goes down. It's Darian that picks up that kill. Now they're on towards Double Lift, and you had to use Shirelia's Reverie desperately back away from that one. Moscow 5 weren't really looking to engage there. Chowster forced it.
And he got pulled a mile back. That was Shunpo flash away from Alex as well, which really pulled the fight in. They couldn't follow up immediately with that Maokai initiation, but this is the beginning of a trend that could be very worrying for CLG, because when you look at your team comp, having a Cho'Gath with a Maokai, with a Lulu, is kind of 3 champions that don't do that much. It's kind of a long-standing thing. If you have 3 champions that are massing gold per 10 items, you generally have 3 champions that are a little bit focused on utility, which means all your damage has to come in from your mid and your AD carry. But Diana is kind of a creator in herself, in her own right, so all of their damage is kind of coming out of Double Lift, which makes it really scary when you initiate that far out and Double Lift ends up getting zoned out by Rengar. Hotshot's got to find a way to get a little bit of tankiness, but he continually builds these defensive items. He's got a Quicksilver Sash and a Frozen Heart going. They're going to need these really extended fights, but Katarina, Amumu, Rengar live for extended fights despite this gold advantage. That's the second fight in a row now that CLG's looked to not really be able to win. Let's see if they continue to initiate. Here comes another.
Back on towards Diamond. They realize he hasn't got Curse of the Sad Mommy this time to go into this fight. Still has that bandage toss on towards him. And Darian, using his ultimate there, didn't manage to get onto anyone. Wanted to pounce. Didn't manage to get vision on anyone. Everybody backed away. Everybody disengaged. And they realized, I think, Moscow 5 were like, no, we haven't got our ultimates. We don't want to fight just yet.
And they burned the Rengar ultimate, but he can make a fight in this area work fine because there's so much brush around the Dragon Pit. That Amumu ultimate will be up right as the Dragon falls if they can stall this out for a few more seconds, and all of CLG is really balled up here. This could be a Dragon into a fight for M5. This is what they're looking for. If they can get this, they'll be in good shape.
Because the Sad Mommy just come up. There is the banish. Joss gets straight in there, gets the ultimate down on towards Chowster. Not the target, not the ideal target. You can see Darian getting around the backside. Crescendo hitting 3 members of the team. There goes Katarina hopping in there. Hotshot GG taking down very low. Alex is going to get shredded though. It's Big Fat LP that did manage to get the kill. Darian just leaps back on towards him. Just off to the side here. It's actually the supports fighting back and forth. But Amain, another kill. Diamond Prox goes down. This is working out very well for CLG. They've picked up 3 kills. Chasing on towards Ghostly Pepper. Dillable left will pick up that. That's 4 kills. They are going to force Genja to run away. They're going to turn the tail to Baron.
And that's a 4 for 0. Everyone enough health to take this Baron out. It's going to be a little tricky. Genja actually going to get a turret out of this. Very smart move by him. But that initiation was a little bit lacking by Diamond Prox. He hit Lulu and I believe Cho'Gath in that, which was just not enough. They needed to get a lockdown onto Doublelift. They also really pressured down on Alex, made sure he was the first one to fall, did not want any of those snowballs happening, and that was a great play by CLG. Maybe they'll be able to get enough damage now with this Baron to make that advantage more help, because that was a slightly misplayed fight by M5 and a great capitalization by CLG.
And there is the Baron going down. Genja did pick up a turret. Better than nothing, I guess, and maybe seeing if you can steal away the red buff, but well, CLG have already pinged on this one. There goes the True Shot Barrage flashing past. Well, he picks up a couple of gold as he goes that way. But Big Fat LP is not going to get close enough. So, Jat, 13-7, 43k to 38k. We now have a Baron up CLG. 2 fights going either way so far. Very much on a balance.
And now with the Baron buff and with crazily CLG wanting to initiate almost every fight, Maokai and Diana doing very well for themselves. They've finished the Zani's Hourglass. It's really just looking at the items they've completed, and they haven't built much damage since the last fight. It's mainly been more defenses, which is a balance in itself of not wanting Alex each to snowball on top of them with Katarina. I think they're going to try to get all their extra damage from the Baron buff at this point, and if they don't look to push something here, don't look for them to push something for a while. Here they come straight up mid, knowing that Darian's in bot lane. Top lane.
Diamond Prox coming across, going to try and defend that off. Looks like Darian is backing off. And CLG, well, question is, they have that Baron. I don't think they're in a strong enough position to even remotely think about diving towards that turret yet.
And Amumu is such a difficult champion to dive. I'd almost think Hotshot might split push this one. But with the way they're posturing around here, they're looking for an opportunity. Absolutely, and Doublelift is not looking for an opportunity, though. He's very wary of that turret. Not even able to get a single shot, and they might just wait for the right rupture. Maybe they're going to try to poke him down. I don't really see much happening off this one, though.
But Genja just sat off at the side here. Is this a purposeful strategy? He's not looking to get in towards his turn. He's happy to sit just off the side there. That ward, of course, giving them vision. They're just seeing if he can, if it goes down, if they do dive in the turret, he's not going to be involved.
He doesn't want to get caught up in that vacuum or the circle combo that CLG is putting in. And it's a very small zone in there by the turret, so it's smart that he's off around the side there. The only thing he has to worry about is maybe getting initiated on his own if Diana decides to go off there. A little cheeky picking up those wraiths, but you can look at this turret right now. CLG's not making much happen with this extended siege. I feel like they're going to go for a different plan very shortly. Whether that's pushing another turret or forcing a fight, we'll have to see.
A lot of pressure, actually. A couple of those Mystic shots on towards Genja took him down to half health. He's playing a dangerous game stealing off of that side. He might get caught out by Big Fat LP. There goes the Crescent Strike. Very, very close there. Just try and see if he can get that pick. Continuing the damage, continuing the pressure, slowly but surely chipping away at this turret.
They're really taking their time with this one, though. And if anything, with how long this is taking, it's going to be one outer turret for a Baron buff. That's not the best conversion for them, considering the fight they won was a little tense to get to that Baron payoff. And yeah, this is the CLG plan. They're going to continually just go slower and slower. Finally, Big Fat taking control of that brush. Maybe a dive here if that rupture lands.
The rupture does land. They go in there. Curse of the Sad Mommy yet to be used, but they have dived towards the turret. Diamond Prox hangs it out there. Did get stunned down. That's going to be the turret going down. Now Big Fat LP continuing to dive forward. Moscow 5, very disciplined. Didn't burn any ultimates there.
And no flashes either. Neither team really wanted to fight full on. That was mainly a harassment half engage just in order to get the turret. Doublelift didn't even think of attacking the enemy. He went all the way for the turret, and they're rushing to try to shop in this one. Everyone got taken low enough. They might get the inhib turret out of this extended push.
They will do, and you can see the Moscow 5, they've all backed off. They didn't want to risk dying and realizing they're going to have to give up an inhibitor, and that's a tough battle to fight. Can they try and push out? Can they try and get in there and pick anything up off the back after the escapes? Any escape frags, as you call them in FPS. But wow, they've turned around. Darian, what are you doing down the lane there? Oh my word, he pops the ultimate. It's not going to happen. Jouster could come around. They're going to see him. He tries to leap away, and he's just about managed to escape it.
And M5 might be looking. Here comes the fight.
Oh, Genja completely caught out by the rupture there. That is CLG catching out the AD carry, and now they can just drive it home. That's given the impetus to just push straight on towards this second inhibitor.
If anything, M5 might try to fight them on here with the Amumu ult, but it will be a very dangerous fight. Maybe lost one. If they don't, though, they lose 2 inhibitors, and that's almost like losing.
They're just effectively giving up the game right now, and that is going to be another inhibitor. There's the crescendo, but they've got no damage to back it up with. Alex is off to the side. Diamondprox goes down again. They are just going in one by one, split targeted. M5 seems to be in disarray here. Moscow 5 just picking off the targets. There's GoSuPepper going down. Double Lift gets another one. 6-8 inhibitor, second inhibitor down. They're going to continue to the Nexus turret.
And there's just 2 members of M5 up. The Jouster almost getting sucked into the Nexus, but look at these turrets fall down. They're focused on a Darian. Maybe they can end right here.
Wow, Darian really, he's just got to feel, he's just give the game up there. Darian just caught off down that turret. Everybody had to react, and immediately they just push on towards them. Shirelia's Reverie being used by CLG to back away, but that was a fantastic siege by them. 16-7, huge 10k gold advantage, 2 inhibitors down. Is it possible to come back from this one? WE tried and nearly failed against CLG earlier on EU, but eventually they ground them down.
Yeah, and this was just a really surprising push by CLG because guarantee you the old CLG before they did all the roster swaps and before they picked up Loco Doco, that would have been 4 people in mid and Hotshot trying to split push, or they would have been trying to do double split pushes. They would not have grouped up and done an extended siege. That is just not how they used to play. But with more coordination, with potentially more practice, maybe a new approach to the game, they stuck to their plan. I didn't really think that was going to work, just bullying in through the middle, but it very well did. With that just persistence, they forced M5 into a few mistakes. They got him a little bit scattered, and you could see this is almost the first time I'd ever say CLG was substantially more coordinated than Moscow 5 in those pushes.
Yeah, you just saw Moscow 5, they just didn't know how to fight it, didn't know what to do. Genja got caught out a little bit on the side, just around here, when he was sitting around. A couple of arcane shots caught onto him. Blue shot very nearly stolen away. Oh, Miss Genja getting caught out, that's game.
It happened again. That's 50-second death timer with 2 inhibs. At the very least, they're going to kill the 3rd inhibitor. Darian split pushing the side lane, and they have more than enough time. Hotshot can easily tank up this turret with his Frozen Heart and Force of Nature. They're taking this one slow. Maybe they're just going in, but as soon as those waves of super minis arrive in the mid, they might push to end this one.
There is the inhibitor turret going down. They're going to come back in again. Hotshot GG just keeping the whole team of Moscow 5 at bay, keeping them away from anything they have. That tankiness is now that strong that they can't really do much damage to him. The output from Moscow 5 is not strong enough. Alexic can't get in, can't get that spin going, and as it is, they're just sieging down the Nexus turrets now. They have massive creeps of stacks coming in there. Jouster pops his ultimate down. It's Darian. They're going to catch on towards Big Fat LP. He's going to follow this one up. Diamondprox catches himself out. He uses Curse to the Sad Mommy. Alexic tries to pop his ultimate. He gets one. Does he get a reset? Doesn't matter. He's still trying to stick around, but no, he gets chomped on, and then Double Lift picks up the kill. They turn back in. A massive grasping roots, twisted advance straight on towards GoSuPepper and Darian. Genja off at the side, just about respawn, but taken straight down. It's a triple. It's a quadra. Can he go for the penta on the turret? They're going for the penta on the fountain, but no, the shutdown comes out. One more shot, will it be enough? Instead, they've... Oh, the true shot barrage misses. He fountain dives.
Too late.
He gets the penta, but it was too late, and it just turns into an ace. They did everything they could to get that penta, and they're just saying, Hotshot, finish the game.
Actually fed Sona a double kill. That would have been Double Lift's second pentakill of the game. I think they're going to be able to do it. That would be hilarious if they didn't win the game based on trying to get a penta, but wow, CLG, the most anticlimactic ending, a giant cho'Gath slowly chomping on the Nexus with everyone else dead. Great play by CLG. Really did not expect them to beat M5 so handily in Game 1. We'll see if they can come back with anything in Game 2. Absolutely fantastic play. CLG, honestly, I know they were in the position, they were like, yeah, okay, we'll siege it out, but I just don't think they're thinking, oh, we'll finish the game here. They're just like, wow, Moscow 5 really just made a big mistake. Well, they were like, the first inhibitor was very controlled, and then they were just like, wait a minute, why is there someone down by that turret while we're we can just go catch him? And after Darian, they're just like, oh, I guess we can get Genja too, because they pulled him down, and Genja just got caught out. He got ruptured. He went too close to that turret, and it's just that typical
solo queue mentality almost like that. They're just like playing as 5 individuals, not as a coordinated team.
I mean, we saw something kind of similar. It was in Tales of Lane qualifiers when they're playing I Want Cookie against Maokai, and Maokai just started getting a few ganks, and it seems like they just fell apart, right? They
don't know how to play against Maokai.
Super simplistically, they don't know how to play against Maokai, and it's a crazy thing for a team, world-class team, known as the best team in the world for a long time, doesn't know how to play against Maokai. Everyone else has learned it in a lot of ways, but no way they're letting Chaucer play Maokai in the second game. 100% ban.
100% ban. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back after a short break. It is Moscow 5 versus CLG North America, or CLG Prime, whatever you'd like to call them. They are 1-0 up against Moscow 5. Did you call that? I bet you didn't. You could bet, of course, on DigiBet and make sure you could pick up a couple of money here. But honestly, I don't know. Moscow 5 are looking rough. We'll be right back after this.